So that time of year has come where we talk about our favourite and least favourite movies of the year. Now, most lists I've seen, people have talked about their best first. I want to get the absolute stinker piles out of the way because I saw some terrible, terrible movies in 2016. Out of 140 movies, I saw some absolute stinkers. But these are 10 out of those movies that I saw that were awful. Now, bear in mind, I didn't see every single movie this year. I almost did. But these are 10 movies that are worse than Alvin and the Chipmunks The Road Chip and Monster Trucks. And trust me, I thought both of those movies sucked. So let's go down to number 10. Number 10 is the movie that started off this channel, Top Cat Begins. Now, we talked a lot of crap about this movie. It was a terrible movie. It was terrible for Top Cat fans. It was terrible for movie fans in general, especially animation fans. That was abysmal. But Top Cat Begins is so low on this list because I had so much fun watching and reviewing and talking about how bad this movie was. And there are 9 movies worse, apparently. So Top Cat Begins is a movie that nobody really saw, but I don't blame you. I wish I didn't see it because, well, I kind of do because it kickstarted this channel and I had fun talking about it. So hey, I don't even regret watching it, but it does suck. So at number 9, we have the return of a classic movie that wasn't even that great to begin with, and that is Independence Day Resurgence. My god, this movie was boring. I don't remember much about it, I just remember it being boring and I guess predictable, and it was a generic action movie. You had a couple of people back from the original Independence Day, but I do not blame Will Smith for stepping down from this movie. A lot of people say Suicide Squad's a terrible movie, but it is much better than this piece of crap, and I'm glad that he did that instead of this because he was the best part of that movie. And if he was in this movie, oh god, Independence Day 2. I don't remember much about it, so I can't even talk about it much, but I did not like this movie. It deserves its place on this list, so let's just move straight on to number 8. And at number 8 is a movie that I just found so stupid and so muddled and crap. It was The Purge election year. Holy shit, The Purge election year is a movie that I walked out and I was baffled because I wasn't expecting anything from it anyway. I'm not a big fan of the Purge movies. A lot of people say The Purge Anarchy is a good movie. I don't really like it. I didn't even watch the first one, but I watched this one because I was like, hey, it could be alright. No, it wasn't even alright. It wasn't even fun to watch how bad it was because in a way it had some things that were so bad it was funny, and in another way you were just watching it like, I could spend my time doing something a hell of a lot better. And that is exactly how I feel about number 7. Bad Santa 2. Fuck that movie. There is nothing redeemable about this movie. It was a waste of time. It was a waste of effort. Nothing about it stood out. The first one's funny. It's kind of heartwarming. This one was about robbing charities at Christmas, dressed as Santa Claus. How was that even a plot that somebody thought up? I mean, the reason it's not higher on this list is just because it doesn't deserve to be talked about much. And I guess if I put it higher on the list, people are going to be like, hey, what was so bad about it? And I don't want to talk about Bad Santa 2 any longer. So, number 6, Ice Age Collision Course. Now, I wasn't sure if this movie was worse than Bad Santa 2, but I remember this movie more. I have more vivid memories of it, and I fucking hated it. It was supposed to be a kids movie. It really didn't feel like that. It was full of innuendos and stuff, and that's fine in a kids movie. I find it funny in a kids movie. And this one, it didn't have anything going for it. It was like Scrat caused a collision course in space that nearly destroyed the world, and then the animals have to go and what did they even do in the movie? They just trekked for an entire movie. There was such a big cast of characters, and I don't even know if anyone saw Ice Age Collision Course. I'm guessing it lost a lot of money in theatres because nobody's talked about it. I didn't even see any reviews of Ice Age Collision Course. Who saw it? Who actually saw it? I did. Didn't like it at all. But number 5 is Plan Z. Now this movie is something, again, nobody has actually seen. It was a Scottish independent film. I was interested in it. I wanted to see what the Scottish independent film industry could bring us. It didn't bring us anything. It brought us a generic zombie movie sort of thing where a guy was unprepared and he was like zombie apocalypse and everything, but there was barely any zombies. The zombies that were in it were they literally just looked human. There was nothing zombie-like about them. But I described this movie as Birdemic with zombies, and that's exactly what it is. The acting's terrible, the movie's terrible, the plot's everything about it is just bad. Plan Z is not worth your time. So don't see Plan Z, even though you won't anyway because you haven't heard of it probably. But it was awful. I'm fine with independent movies. I saw a really cool zombie movie. I'm not sure if it was independent, but I saw a really cool zombie movie this year called The Girl of All the Gifts, and that was a completely different type of zombie movie, and it was much better done than Plan Z was. So at number 4 we have our first horror movie. I guess all of the top bloody 4 are horror movies because they're so bad, but this one was a genuine horror movie, or supposedly. Other Side of the Door. I don't remember much about it again, but I really didn't like it. I walked out just thinking that was a terrible ending to a terrible movie that had nothing going for it. There was nothing scary about it. It didn't really have much of a plot. It bored me. Even the jump scares, I don't remember there being any, and it was like, usually a terrible zombie movie or a terrible horror movie has some jump scares. Couldn't even do that. Could not even do that. So it deserves to be one of the shittiest films this year. And at number 3 is a movie that probably would have been higher, but it's not, because I saw 2 worse movies. 9 Lives, this movie broke me. I made a review of this movie and it was just me ranting at the camera about how much I hated it. It is an awful, awful movie. Kevin Spacey, I like the guy, but I cannot take him seriously. I was going to watch House of Cards. I don't want to now, because I won't take it seriously, because he played a talking fucking cat in this movie, and he ruined every bit of respect I had for him. I thought he was a great Lex Luthor. I even liked that movie. And in this one, he really he broke me. This movie broke me. I can't understand why he was in it. Had a great cast. Christopher Walken was dancing to a Three Cool Cats song. Why? I'm going to stop talking about this movie because it's making me angry. Number 2, Gods of Egypt. Now, this isn't the type of movie that made me angry necessarily, but it's just a movie that had potential. It had so much potential. Egyptian gods are interesting to me. I wanted to see a good Egyptian movie, and then I saw the trailer and it was like, well, this looks absolutely terrible, but I'll give it a chance. I gave it a chance. It was absolutely terrible. Worst CGI I've ever seen. Just every bit of humour they tried didn't work. The action scenes were just boring action scenes. And you've got the sort of, I mentioned in the initial review of the green screen that was like Batman and Robin in the 60s, and it was cool then because it was campy and it was kind of cute. But in this one, it's anything but. Number 1, the absolute worst movie of 2016. Probably the most crushing, abysmal cinematic experience I've had in my entire life. 50 Shades of Black. Now, I'm not a 50 Shades of Grey fan. I wanted to see them take the piss out of 50 Shades of Grey. They just took the piss out of themselves. Thank you, Marlon Wayans. You made one of the worst movies I have ever seen in my life. Now, spoof movies, they can be funny, I guess. Scary Movie 1 was kind of funny. The airplane movies are funny. All those sorts of movies. This one, the spoof movie genre's gone. It shouldn't have been there to begin with, because just make your own original content. But with this one, it was like you have the exact same plot of a boring ass fucking shit movie that I hated, and you make it more boring and more shit and unfunny when you were trying to be funny. I didn't laugh once. I might have smiled once at one scene that involved a belt and they mentioned Joe Jackson or something. It was kind of funny, but it wasn't more than because I'd seen that sort of shit before. 50 Shades of Black is the worst movie of 2016 and possibly one of the worst movies of all time. It was so unpleasant to watch. So those are the 10 worst movies I saw this year. Hated all 10 of them. Never want to see any of them again, but who knows. If you agree with me, let me know, and let me know your worst movies this year. I feel angry. I need to go out for a cigarette or something because I need to calm my nerves. I can't wait to talk about the best movies this year, because there were some real good movies this year and they were much better than all 10 of these. So prepare for that, because I'm gonna probably praise them more than I should anyway, because of how bad these movies were. Thinking about these movies just makes me depressed. They say 2016 was a bad year. It was. It really was. But we did get some great movies, so let's wait to talk about those. Thank you guys for watching. So again, yeah, let me know what your worst movies of 2016 were, and if you don't agree, let me know if you like any of these movies. I don't see how anyone could, but I'm not going to judge. So thank you guys for watching, and I will see you all very soon.